This is my recording for Computer Science on 6 week 2, and this is doing the cat like coding tutorial graph. So if I play this, we get a when this loads, of course, I should get a graph, a 3D graph like this, and this is created by using this point asset. That's just a single 1x1 cube that can scale based on the program. And that cube, it can go into tons of different functions, like this wave, or even this multi-wave. And this is achieved by using two scripts. The main one is a function. Well, there's two of them. There's a graph script and a function library script. And the graph script, that's what does most of the work. It runs it. And then the function library script, that's what's referenced with this menu over here. And that function library can use some mathematical functions to apply into the 3D space and create a create a point and then create points that you can put the copied assets on, the copied points on, and then we also apply a shader created through uh, this point universal rendering pipeline, I believe. And that shader makes it so that the colors are different based on not only the x and y coordinates, but also the z coordinates. That's pretty helpful for that. And so we can just go over to the scripts over here. And so it's around 60 like functions for the function library. And in the over here for the graph, this is much shorter. But basically, what it does is it sets the scale of the function. So that's how we know how big the individual cubes should be. That does that on the awake, and then every cycle, every frame, it checks what the function is, what the function library set to, and it goes in, checks that, gets the points that we need to put them at, and proceeds to render all the points there. And this has all five of the functions that we're using in this program. And these five functions have are converted to 3D space, so if you use them in 3D space. But that's pretty helpful for all sorts of stuff. And so one thing that I think from this I can continue doing is I now have a better understanding of how these mathematical functions can go into, how they can go into like can go into 3D spaces, and even just with the working the 2D first, it's definitely helped me. And then additionally, like understanding how creating an asset point helps. And so that means I could possibly create like an infinite marble run of some sort. Another thing, uh, I think probably the thing that worked best, or that I understand the best, was kind of all the functions, and those were pretty useful. Uh, some of the some of the all, some of these things were a little confusing. Some of them, like precise math, left me a little confused sometimes. But it's it's pretty good, and I understand it pretty well, so that's good. Uh, yeah, and this tutorial is pretty good. It's was pretty interesting because I liked doing the different equations and seeing how these different equations interact and how you can uh, convert that into 3D space is very interesting. Yeah.